Okay, you guys.
Hello, welcome. What the hell episode is this? 5?
5.
What?
Holy, yeah.
That is
You guys
crazy.
heard the cute little voice chime in. Spoiler alert, we have our sweet, amazing, beautiful, down-to-earth, kind-hearted Pepper.
Pepper from Salt Lake. That's
Pepper
your
from
Instagram,
Salt
right?
Lake.
From Salt Lake. I
Yes,
love that.
She is the most beautiful, kind, genuine person, you guys. I literally have nothing but amazing things to say about her.
Yes,
And
I met her like an hour ago and she's amazing. She just has such this like beautiful light and like energy.
why are we here, you guys? That is such an important question. And we are here to talk about a serious topic, and as you guys heard at the beginning of this episode, we do have a trigger warning. This episode we will be talking about rape recovery, and we know it's a very sensitive issue for both men and women of all ages, no matter whether you are out and have talked about your recovery story or if you are still holding on to it, which is okay too. Everybody deals with things on their own pace. We just want, before we go into everything with Mikell, to give you guys that chance to hop off. And we have other episodes you can listen to if this is not something that you are comfortable with. But we are here to talk about rape recovery with Mikell, and she is going to share her story with her battles with what she's dealt with. And I'm just going to hand the time over to her, and I just want you to kind of give yourself like a little introduction and tell everybody why you're so perfect and amazing. What makes you who you are as a person. What is your seed? What is your flower?
Okay. Well, I'm Pepper and I like long walks on the beach.
Yes.
And just kidding. I do love those, but I feel like some things that make me me are for sure my job, which I love. I work at the Boys and Girls Club, and it makes me so happy. It's such an amazing job. I love to meditate, and I'm like really into spirituality. That's helped me a lot with my healing for sure. I am literally like, I'll go hug a tree if I'm having a hard day. Like, they take up so much energy and help me in so many ways. And there's been like, I have a specific tree on the parkway and I just will go and sit in it and like listen to music and chill out, and it makes my days 1,000 times better. Like if I'm feeling lonely or anything like that. So I'm huge into nature for sure. Yeah, I'm from Salt Lake, and
Yeah. Where did you go to high school? Where did you go to
I went to Murray.
MHS, baby.
Yeah.
The Spartans.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So, tell us about kind of your story. I mean, where did it all start?
Yeah.
How did you get to this? I mean, you guys, seriously, if you're watching our YouTube, Pepper she's glowy, girl.
Literally glowing.
I'm like
Thank you.
emotional just looking
Yeah.
at like the energy and like especially hearing you talk about spirituality. Like I just can feel that so much from you. So how did you get to this point? You know.
So I'm probably gonna get emotional. I just like, that's
It's
gonna
okay,
happen.
we will too.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is like, it's not an easy thing
No,
to
not at
talk
all.
about. And we know that.
Yeah.
So it's like, go at your own pace. We're not here for anybody else but us.
Yep.
And so we have all night.
I actually do this thing when I'm crying where I try not to wipe my tears because they are really healing. And when you're letting them out, like, they're supposed to be let out and a part of you. And
Wow.
yeah, they are like, it's water coming from you, and water is like one of the most healing things in the world, you know?
Wow.
Yeah. So
Oh my God.
it's super important. I try my hardest not to wipe my tears when they come, like to let all my emotions happen. And sometimes I look like a hot mess, like doing that. But
You look beautiful crying.
thank you. Here's the coolest part about my story is that it actually started 2.5 years ago today. So like, this is my anniversary of it, all of my trauma happening. And it just was so amazing that it like landed on this day, and it made me know that like the universe was telling me that it's time to talk about. So thank you guys for having me here and giving me this safe space to do it in. So a couple years ago, 2.5 to be exact, I decided to go and travel to Thailand on my own. And it was the most amazing, beautiful journey, but also was really hard. And I was drugged and sex trafficked, like, for most of my trip. I had just gotten out of a relationship and was really trying to find myself. And when I went there, there was all these amazing people, you know, so many beautiful people, everyone trying to get me to drink and have fun and have a good time. And I opened up and I told people about me, like people that I didn't know. And just really went out there and was just like my happy, naive self, and really thought that like I was gonna be just fine, you know? And then I went a couple nights not remembering what was happening. And then I went and rented a kayak and was in the middle of the ocean and like just paddling and singing at the top of my lungs. And all of a sudden I had this feeling kick in, and it was that I was in danger and that I wasn't okay. And I had gone like a week and a half of every night not knowing what had happened, but feeling in my body that I wasn't safe. I paddled back to the hostel, the hostel that I was staying in, and I called my mom and just started like the hardest fight of my entire life to try and get back home. It was really hard and really scary because I'd been drugged. I had like gone through a spiritual awakening because of all the trauma and all the things that had happened. And then on top of that, like I was going through major trauma, and I was not mentally all there, but also I felt the most mentally there that I ever had in my entire life, you know? Like it was such a weird mix of both. Like my mom, I'm sure she doesn't ever think that I'm crazy. She would never say that, but it would be really scary to hear like your daughter on the other side of the phone and saying like, I'm being sex trafficked and I need to get home, you know? I went and I stayed at the airport for 3 days until my flight. And then through there, I started having memories and like remembering what was happening. I decided to tell the police there that it had happened, and I had to go take a ferry back to the island that I was on before that all of this had happened on. And then like there were cops that led me there, right? And then once I got to the island, I showed them where everything happened, and I like gave them all the proof, and they took pictures of me that proved all of it. I had all of the evidence that I would ever need, and but I couldn't get my story straight because I was still too out of it. They said that I was drunk and that I didn't know what had happened. They said that if I tried to press charges that they would arrest me if they found out that it wasn't true. And so like I'm out on this island by myself, and at this point just was like, nope, I can't do this. Like I need to just get home. I can't focus on anything else at this point. But since I had done that, they had to contact the U.S. Embassy to let them know what had happened. And the U.S. Embassy connected me to the Rape Recovery Center. And so I was in Thailand talking to women at the Rape Recovery Center, and they were helping me while I was there before I'd even gotten home. And my mom was on the other side just like being a badass, like getting me all, she was doing all this research on how to help me start living life again, helping me figure out how to be me, you know, because I came home and had to quit my jobs, and I couldn't drive, I couldn't eat, like I felt like I had to completely start life over, you know. And my mom had told me like she felt like she'd brought home a newborn baby. Like I was a whole new person in so many ways, in so many beautiful, amazing ways. Like I cannot express enough how grateful I am. I'm not grateful that this happened, but I'm grateful for who I am today because it happened, right? Because before I would let people walk all over me, and I didn't believe in myself, and I dissociated most of my life, you know, like I just stayed in this constant state of not feeling anything. And my trauma brought me life, you know? So I would never regret going through it. Never would I like want to go back and change anything. As hard as it was, like, holy shit, I have such a beautiful life now. I, like, when I got home, I could not spend a moment by myself. I was so afraid to be anywhere on my own. Like, I'd go into the bathroom and have something with me that would make me feel safe. Like, I'd hold my water bottle like a weapon, you know? And now I'm moving out on my own. Like, it just is so amazing to see how far I'm proud of myself. I've come really, really far from what happened, you know? So, yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean, that is
So
very
heavy.
Yeah, very
is.
heavy.
And
it's absolutely terrifying to know that happens.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think just sitting here listening to you, I know for me, I know this is something that so many people know happens, but nobody realizes how many women it affects and how many people it happens to, and that people just think that it really can like happen to anybody at any time. And just
anywhere, like, it doesn't
anywhere.
just happen in Thailand, you know, it's all over the world.
literally, I think, like, the part too that, like, obviously the whole thing is just like, you're just so strong, and I know it probably took a lot to get to where you are today, and I so condemn you for that. Is condemn the right word?
I think so,
Yeah. I condemn you for it. Like, I can't believe how strong you are, and I know it's probably taken a long time for you to even be able, like you've even said, like, it's that time for me to talk about it. Like, just the way that everything is, like, played out, like, and I think that a lot of the times people think that, and going on a trip by yourself, they think, I'm safe, I'm going to a very touristy area.
Yeah.
But you still, like, it just goes to show, like, you still need to be careful. And I think that you went on an adventure, like a soul-finding adventure, like going to Thailand, and then something so traumatic and out of hand happened to you. And yes, it's amazing that you are such a strong, spiritual, amazing person, but you didn't deserve that, and you know that. But it did teach you a lot, and I feel like this can help a lot of people. So thank you so much for being so strong to be able to speak your story and, like, tell everyone. Sorry, I've been trying so hard not to cry.
You're okay.
Like, and tell everybody, like, what's happened to you. Like, I really appreciate it, and I'm so sorry that you went through that.
Amazing. So are you.
So are you.
But yeah, and that's why I'm glad you said that, Brookie, because that's why too I just feel like I said, we all know it happens, but it's people like you who are able to sit here and tell your story and share it with others, so that other people can realize that this can happen to you. It can happen to your neighbor. It can happen to your best friend. It can happen to someone
But it's
you
not
grew
your
up
fault.
No, never.
With. No, but it
That's
can
like a
happen to
huge
all of
thing,
us.
is that, like, know that it's not your fault. Like,
Ever.
none of it's your fault. You went and did this amazing journey, and that's for you.
Yeah.
There's terrible, terrible people in this world, and it's so hard to fathom that, like, that could ever happen. I don't know.
Well, and I think, Brooke, that's something, I feel like you and I, when we started this podcast, we were like, oh, we're just going to be our fun, bubbly selves, and we're going to have a lot of fun, and all of our friends, like, always think we're, like, so funny, even though we're a mess all the time. But we wanted to make sure that if we were going to spend our time doing this, and we were going to put all of this time and work into creating this podcast, that we were going to talk about subjects. We were going to talk about, not just for women, for any gender. We were going to talk about things that were going to make an impact on people's lives and help people. And I feel like Brooke and I both are just, I don't know, we think we're just so funny and talk about WAP and talk about whatever all the time, but, like, this is what
why
we want to do.
We wanted to do this.
Yes.
wanted to do this to talk about issues and problems that we have dealt with and that we know other people have dealt with as well, that are almost like uncomfortable to talk about, uncomfortable to listen to. And that's why we want to talk about it, is because it needs to be normalized.
Yeah, it does.
People need to feel as though they have a safe space. If they are feeling threatened, even though there's no threats around them, if they're feeling threatened due to trauma and having literal PTSD from it, it's okay to feel that way. But some people will ridicule you about it and want answers as to, well, why do you feel that way? You shouldn't feel that way. It's fine. You're safe. It's fine. I think that, like, talking about stuff like this shows people that there's so much more within someone that you really could never know about. I mean, if Allie had just met you and, like, I have known, like, a little bit about your story, obviously not nearly any of that, but Allie just met you and she would have had no idea.
Absolutely not.
She would have had no idea. And so it's like, you truly don't know what someone is going through, and I'm so proud of you for being able to get to a point in your life where you're like, I feel safe enough and comfortable with myself enough right now to, like, take that big step to, like, I'm gonna get my own place.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes, tell us about
I'm gonna
that.
try, and I'm gonna try this shit.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if you don't like it, say fucking nar, go back to mommy's house. Because that's a safe space.
Yes, it definitely is.
You know, like, it's trial and error with life. And
It is.
I am so insanely proud of you. I'm so sorry that I, like, keep talking. I'm just I'm like looking at you and I'm just like, I don't know how
amazing.
you are doing it.
Yes.
Thank you.
And I want to know more about your new adventure. So I just thinking, you know, of your story that you just told us. The fact that it's 2.5 years later and you are moving into an apartment by yourself, living this fucking beautiful independent life of yours. How did you get to this point? I mean, how in the last 2.5 years, how did you get to where you are now? Because it's amazing.
I know you said, like, start, like, if you can, like, start from, like, the beginning. Like, start from, like, how the hell are you here? Like, in this, like, vibrant,
literally, how the hell are you here is like, girl, yes, tell us.
in this seat, that is what I mean.
So right when I got home, my mom had me at the Rape Recovery Center, like, almost immediately, and I remember sitting in this chair with a therapist, and I'd gone to the Rape Recovery Center so set on finding the woman that had talked me through all of this, right? But they're in call centers, and they're not physically at the Rape Recovery Center, and they can't give their information out, right? So it's all confidential, you know? I'd gone in just, like, roaring, like, I need to find this woman. I have to thank her. She saved my life, like. And instead, I was welcomed with some other amazing women that work there, people that work there, and she had me sitting in a chair, and it was the first time that I'd been away from my mom since I had landed. They couldn't get me in for therapy right away, right? But I'm sitting in this chair with her, and she has me close my eyes and has me go through each of my senses. And she says, like, okay, I want you to find one thing that you smell, one thing that you taste, one thing that you touch, like, each thing. And then very last, she had me open my eyes. And that was, like, the first time that I felt grounded, and I, like, didn't feel like I was running as much anymore once I got home, you know. But so that kind of stuff, listening into my body, has helped so much. When I got home, I was seeing 5 therapists. So literally, like, I was not working. I was only focusing on myself for about 8 months, I'd say. Just had therapy almost every single day. Some group therapy, some just, like, regular one-on-one, all different kinds of stuff, an art therapy group. Like, that's what I focused my life on. And I just filled myself with all these different tools. It was kind of overwhelming at first because I was like, I have all these tools, I don't know how to work with them. You know, there's too many to choose from. So, but as time went on, like, slowly but surely, I was able to pick, like, okay, today I need to sing. Today I need to go for a walk. Or, like, okay, this different day I need to use a crystal, like something like that, you know. Every day was different, and I just had to like kind of accept that I was changing and growing every single day and becoming this new person, right?
So you look the left and your right brain.
Yeah. So the way that I do it though is I use these little things that vibrate in both of my hands, and then I use headphones that do like a ticking noise, so it'll be like vibrate and tick on both sides. And then I'll pick a specific thing, whether it's a memory or like something that maybe I like deep down believe about myself. So like one that I did was I felt only deserving of being with addicts. And so I go and I feel inside, like she'll have me make up a sentence like I am deserving of being with addicts, and then I go through and I say that, and then I feel deep inside and I like tell her whatever is coming up, and then it gets to a point where I have like the most recent memory of when I felt that, and then another memory, and then it goes all the way back to when I was like a child.
Wow.
And I can let them go, you know. And then after, she like helps me get into a safe space where I feel okay again, you know, because it can be really hard doing EMDR because it makes you feel like you're in your trauma again. Like you're literally reliving it.
Those.
I like smell the same smells as I did in Thailand. All like the air will taste the same. Like all of it, it's so crazy. So it's super important to have the right person and someone that you trust when you're doing that kind of stuff, because it can go really wrong, you know.
Right. Sounds terrifying.
It also
if
though,
it can go wrong, like that.
So it sounds like, and I am so naive to any of this shit, so forgive me, but I'm loving so much like how much I'm learning from you right now. It seems like there's a lot of like sensory type of therapy.
Yeah.
And I never realized that. I think when I think of therapy, I think of the therapy I've done, or just a general like
Where you
sitting and
just sit
talking.
down.
Yeah, talking to a therapist,
Yeah.
talking about your feelings.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm so interested in all of the like sensory stuff that you're talking about, like with the different, like you said, singing or going for a walk, or even just like feeling those vibrates in your hands. Like how does all of that kind of work for you? And like, you know, do you know what I'm trying to ask?
Yeah, definitely.
Like how does that work? I'm just intrigued. I'm sure it's like a mouthful, but like what has it done for you?
Oh, I feel like before my trauma, I had no idea about any of that stuff really either. But naturally, it kind of just all started calling to me. And before I would go for a walk, and I just would be going for a walk. And now, like, if I'm really in tune with myself, this isn't every day. I can't sit here and say that, like, every day my journey is the same. You know, some days I'm really not in tune with myself. But when I am, like, I just will walk and feel whatever is calling to me, you know, in that exact moment. And then I'll look down and there's like a leaf that looks like a heart on the ground, and like just different things that I started noticing from meditation. Mainly, I think that was like one of the biggest things, was sitting silently with myself. And then once I started practicing that, then like I could meditate just throughout the day by like blasting a song in my car. Then that turns into meditation, or like sitting and petting my dog, or whatever it is, anything that makes you completely quiet your mind for just a few seconds. So when I was doing all of that kind of stuff, and I started doing it like on a daily basis as much as I could, then that's when more of all of this in tune stuff started opening up, you know?
Well, and I feel like how you said, when I'm just going for a walk, I feel like when we just go for a walk, you're walking your dog, you're literally thinking about the bajillion things going on in your head or going on in the day. And I just feel like I love that you say you just take a deep breath. What do you smell? What do you see? Just being in touch with like your surroundings and being like so present.
I think a lot of people I don't think a lot of people realize that meditation is not sitting on the ground. Like obviously that is a form of meditation, but I don't think and I didn't realize either, but my therapist wanted me to do the EMDR therapy as well, but she told me like before I need to learn how to meditate. And that took me months. Months to learn how to shut your mind off. And then it finally occurred to me, like she had told me, she's like, when you're in the shower, when you're driving, when you're doing this, and I'm like, how the hell am I supposed to meditate in the shower?
Yeah.
I go over my schedule for the next 6 weeks in the shower.
I do the same thing.
There's no way.
Yeah.
But you learn how to become in tune with yourself. And I'm terrible. And she really wants me to do the EMDR for like my PTSD. And I won't do it because I'm really scared.
Yeah.
I'm not ready yet.
Yeah. That
And
makes sense.
that's okay.
Yeah.
Like, and it's okay. Like, I do a bunch of other therapies.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
We do a lot of other stuff.
Yeah.
And that's really, really helpful. But I think it's important for people to know that meditation can be those 10 seconds petting your dog.
Yep.
Driving, blasting your favorite song or some song that you haven't even heard before, but it just feels good. You feel it.
Yep.
And I don't think that people realize that that's coming in tune with yourself. And if you can learn, and it's hard, and I know it's hard. I mean, at least it was hard for me.
Yeah, it is.
It's hard to meditate.
Really hard.
It's really hard to turn your mind off. And then when you're done, like, I think Diksha is what really helped me learn how to meditate, actually.
Yeah.
That's what really, really helped me. And I thought it was so weird at first. I'd be like opening my eyes, looking at everybody, and I'm like, this is cuckoo bananas. Like, you're coming over my head doing, I'm like, where do you do Diksha? What are you looking at me for at Lotus?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so the very first time that I meditated was at Dancing Cranes doing the same thing.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I love Diksha there too.
Like, they're coming, like, touching my third eye, and I'm like, am I supposed to be seeing things?
And I open my eyes and they're above me, and they're like literally
touching
so
me.
into it, and I'm like,
what is going on?
yes! That's so...
I was the same way. Yeah.
I feel like anywhere that I have to sit and be quiet for like a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
That's like, I can't even go golfing, you guys. My parents are always like, shut the
I was
like,
just telling
I'm
Kiana when I
really
start golfing, mostly so I can wear like those cute
Yes,
skirts
yes.
with TJ
They
Maxx
are so
and
cute.
some wine coolers.
Yes.
We should go.
We
just
should.
so down.
Okay,
I'm in a golf cart.
Can you imagine us three
Yes.
walking into you guys?
That
we
would
need
be
to
so
do that.
funny. I'm
In
way down.
some mini skirts.
We need to like Instagram live this shit
Please,
and do it.
Kim.
I'm gonna just do it for me. I'm gonna walk in
Yeah.
with this concierge. I'm gonna salmon on the rocks or whatever.
Salmon on the rocks. I love that. Okay, well,
Oh my
we're
God.
going golfing as soon as COVID can get its
Yes.
fucking shit together.
I know.
We can go
I
golfing
feel
like in the winter, right?
I always say, I'm like, I'm so fucking sick of COVID. But I literally am like, I'm like playing with a napkin. I'm disgusting. I'm literally so like amazed with like what this year has brought. Like,
Yeah.
I am like, I don't know. So I took like this personality test, like the 16 personalities or whatever. And I took it last year in like the fall. And I was like extroverted queen. And then I recently took it because the girls at my coffee shop were all talking about it. And I'm like, okay, I should retake it. And now I'm an INFJ.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, wow, I've kind of turned into a bit of an introvert.
Yeah.
But I think that's who I've always been. But I feel like I have always felt like I need to live up to some standard that I've set for myself because I've always been the
Yes.
bubbly, outgoing Brooke. But I'm like,
Yes.
that takes so much energy from me, but I love to do it because it makes me forget about how terrible I feel on the inside.
Yeah.
And it's taken me a really long time to learn that, and I don't know why I'm telling you this right now.
I'm really glad that you are.
That's
Yeah.
what we're all here for.
Yeah.
This is a fucking girl talk
I love
podcast.
Yeah.
It's an everyone talk podcast.
I know, I always
Excuse
forget
me.
that I'm like, and I'm so bad, and I always tell this and Allie this, and I'm like, and I get so close, and I'm just like, we're just talking, and I'm like, I forget that we're recording.
Yes.
I just feel like, when I'm doing something, I just get so in tune with it.
Me too.
And I get really, really scaredy at first,
Yeah.
but then I'm like, so what else about me?
Yes, exactly. I feel
love
like
it.
this is like our own kind of little, you know, therapy meditation
Yeah, I agree.
session. So,
Yeah.
but Brooke, I'm so glad you brought that up because
Yeah.
I think with COVID, there really, I'm not saying there's good things coming from COVID, but there really is. For me, there's so many positive things about
So
this
many
year. So
positive,
many
yes.
like new things that I've tried this year, you know, and I feel like just being positive in general has been so freaking hard
Finding
this
the
year.
good out of like the shit that's happening around you. Like I feel like I got out of a really toxic job that I absolutely hated. I felt like I loved it, but I really just pretended that I loved it and stayed in it for way too long. God bless me getting fired, even though I didn't deserve it.
Yeah.
And then I am back at like a job where I'm actually like valued and I love it more than life itself. And I finally moved in with my boyfriend. Like I finally am like feeling like in tune with my life, and like
That's amazing.
and I got my dream car.
Oh
Like,
my gosh!
I got my dream car. Like I'm like, what is this year? So I want you guys to also tell like what are your highlights of this year, because I feel like everything's been like such a downer this year. Like what are your top 5 things?
Yes.
If you could think of 5.
Yeah. Okay, and while we're on that subject, I just feel like, seriously, I feel like this is all because of Pepper. Her positive, just you guys.
Laura is just like
positive
insane.
energy. We're over here
Insane.
talking about COVID, and I look over her and I'm like, it's not that bad. I'm like, this girl is like the light, most beautiful, positive person. So,
Literally, you're amazing.
not to interrupt you, Brookie, but I just have to say, like, you really do have such a positive light. So, okay, let's hear it. You go first. What are positive things?
5 positive things. So I've been able to get out, like, and go camping a lot more, like way more than I ever have in my entire life.
Right.
So being able to do that has been super awesome. It's helped me really look inward, and like sometimes one of my trauma responses is like, and a lot of people don't realize that this is a trauma response, but sometimes I pack my life full of like 5,000 things to do so that I don't have to focus on whatever it is that's really going on. And being able to go inward and like have to take the time to be at home, and I had nowhere else to run other than like inside, you know, and that was super helpful. Getting my new place, as I said, like I'm super stoked about that. And I'm also bringing a dog with me, and I've never like had my own dog before, so I'm super excited about that also.
So awesome.
I've only had family dogs, so it's gonna be nice to like have my own.
Yes, like your baby.
Yes.
I'm so
cute.
excited about that for you.
I don't remember how many I've done so far.
No,
But
You lose track
That's
when you're
amazing.
having fun.
I know. Seriously, that's
okay,
so amazing.
spending time with family, that's another one.
Yes.
That's amazing. Okay, I started my YouTube channel. Hell yeah! I know. I started my YouTube channel in May. It's Unsolved Mysteries for anybody who's into that shit.
I'm so
which I
excited to check it
love.
out.
Yes.
You guys, like she is like under talking herself.
Yeah.
This homegirl does her freaking makeup while she talks about these unsolved mysteries, and it's not just like she just doesn't just talk about them. It's like facts on facts on facts. And
What?
it's like, what do you guys think?
Oh my god.
Okay, I'm so glad you said that.
I love
Dude,
her.
people in the comments fact check me all the time, and I'm always like, oh my god, you should start a YouTube channel too.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
I
That's
did.
so funny.
Yeah.
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you corrected me. Thank you. So thanks, Brookie. You're welcome.
Oh my
I love you. So I did that, which was so fun. I do what's called WTF Wednesdays. Since starting the podcast with Brookie, obviously I took a backseat to that because this is like my priority right now. But I have posted a few more videos, so that's been fun.
Yay.
And then obviously starting this podcast with Brooke. Can I just say to you guys, like
It's been amazing.
it's been amazing, and Brooke and I were always friends growing up, but we have never been this close.
Oh.
And I would be fucking lying to every single one of you right now if I said like this podcast that goes fucking nowhere. I don't give a shit, because I have literally found like my beautiful best friend sitting next to me. I'm serious.
I love
She is
this.
the most amazing. Like seriously.
I love
and
it
I
so
honestly,
much.
and I honestly feel like of all the positive things that have happened to me in 2020, regardless of anything, podcast, whatever, Brooklyn Lawrence right here is the most positive thing that's happened to me this year. She's amazing. I love you.
that.
You're amazing.
I love listening. It like makes my week every week
Oh
to
my
be able to
God,
listen to it. It makes me so happy.
Thank you for
Thank you.
supporting us. You've
Of
been like
course.
a day one.
I know.
OG.
OG.
And it's,
Yes.
and Allie's like so right. Like, we've always been friends, and I feel like we've always been like,
We've always had like
we should
connections.
hang out.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I don't know, would it be weird if I hung out with just Allie? Like, we hung out each other like that, and then it's like, let's start a fucking podcast. I'm like, I'm coming over, bitch.
Yeah.
And now
That's
I'm like, if I
exactly
go
what
a day without hearing from her, I'm like,
Are you okay?
Brooke and I literally text. We're like, we talk all day.
all day through Marco Polo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my god, I love
All
it.
fucking
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
And like, Keon's like, why don't you guys, on the way here, he's like, why don't you guys just text each other like normal people? Why are you always listening to her? And Marco Polo? I'm like, I have things to say.
Our text would be like 17 pages
Yeah,
long.
yeah.
No, we don't got time for that.
I don't know,
No.
nobody has time for that. Anyways,
No.
oh my fucking gosh.
There's nice stuff. I was like, I took a cheesy turn, but that's
No,
okay.
I
I
love
had to
it.
say
I
it's
love
true.
Allie was just telling Mikell how bad we want her to come back on the episode and talk about what?
We want her to talk about her just spirituality. You do a lot with like crystals and healing and
Yeah.
internal like, oh my god, all of this stuff. I want to know all of the things that are giving her all of this amazing, beautiful, positive energy.
Thank you.
Would you?
Yeah,
Would you totally
absolutely
do that?
anytime. I would come and talk about bullshit. Like,
Yes.
anything at all, please. Like,
Yes.
I will come back anytime.
We love it.
Pepper is literally a part of the Hot Mess Express for sure.
So
I
yes, Mikell.
also wanted to add into, I kind of forgot, like, having the support of every single person that I've met and like helped me along the way, that I could not have done it without them. Like family, people I just met on the street, like having that kind of support like also pushed me through so much. And you guys, like, thank you so much for creating a safe space for me to be able to talk about this stuff. Like,
Girl.
it's really, really hard, but it is so important, and you guys created the best, most amazing space for me to do this in, you know?
Thank you.
And it's just
Yeah.
been fun. It's not all been
Yeah.
hard and heavy, you know?
Yeah.
There's been a lot of light in it as well, you know?
Yeah.
So thank you.
We appreciate you being here and
Yeah.
being like strong and being so vulnerable to talk about it. So thank you so much, because we know it's not easy.
Yeah.
And I think that this is also, like you were even saying, like a part of your healing.
Oh,
you know,
for
being
sure.
able
Yeah.
to talk about it.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. And the other thing that I want to add too is like, telling my story, I don't want people to be afraid of traveling alone. I don't want people to be scared of doing that kind of stuff, because it was also like the most empowering thing, you know, and helped me become who I am so much. But I feel like it's super important to know what can happen. And
Yeah.
I think that's like one of the biggest reasons that I do share my story, you know? So
now
from
we
you,
have our
girl.
mantra queen here live, ready to go. Tune in, bitches.
roaring and ready.
Yes.
Yes. Get in our spirituality, motherfucker.
Yes.
I don't know if I specifically have a mantra for this one, but I have like a thing that I like to do for myself when I'm not.
Yes.
Even better.
I guess when I'm feeling very outside of my body,
Yes.
right? Going through and like getting lotion and thanking every single part of my body for something, you know, is so helpful to like sit and touch your own hands and like say, thank you for holding me today. Like, thank you, like going through massaging your own feet. Like, thank you for carrying me through life. Like going through and doing that to each part of your body, I feel like is so important and makes you feel confident in who you are and reminds you that this is here too, you know?
Oh my gosh.
I need you to be like my life coach.
No, I'm serious. I'm literally like, Keon, come rub my feet.
Yeah.
Come rub my back. But like, I need to be doing that shit for myself.
Yeah. I think like being single for, okay, maybe not being single, but like not being in a relationship where I had that, you know?
Right, right.
I really had to figure out how to support myself in those situations, and that was a
Yeah.
huge way to do it, like being able to go inward and just take that time. And like sometimes I'll sit in front of a mirror and do it, and then other times it'll just be like when I get out of the shower, just anytime, you know?
So
But
this
I'm
might be
obsessed.
you don't have to answer
No,
it,
yeah.
but do you feel like, because I know that you're like talking to another guy and stuff, but do you feel like your experience through everything has caused you to like fear men in any way?
absolutely. But then huge part of the healing process, like being able to have sex again, like feeling comfortable. When I got home, I could not even walk into a restaurant and like order from a man, you know, like it scared me so much. I want to be able to date and let people get to know me, but then I feel like I have to tell them this whole story before we get intimate with each other, because it's so important for them to know what my triggers are, you know. Sometimes that can make it hard. I couldn't ever do just like a one night stand. I couldn't just do that kind of thing, because I really have to feel emotionally, like I have to feel connected in every way to open that up, you know.
That's amazing.
But really listening to your body in those moments, and giving yourself time, like not rushing into that kind of stuff whatsoever. Like you can go years away from your trauma, and still like that kind of stuff can be super scary and hard, and just taking the time to feel all of that and say, like, you know, I'm safe in this moment right now, but what happened to me was not safe, and it's not, like, reminding myself it's not happening now. I'm not there now, you know.
Oh my I'm really proud of you.
Thank you.
That's insane.
And
like,
so brave.
That's so brave.
So
like,
brave.
I can't even like find like the right word to
I know.
put it, you know what I mean? Like I feel like it's just like so hard to fathom.
Yeah.
You know? And so thank you.
Yeah.
That I don't know why I was so curious about
No,
it's definitely a good question.
I'm an open book with that kind of stuff too, for sure, you know. And
I mean, like we've said, it's what Brooke and I are here for. That's what we want to do, and we're so happy to have you. Absolutely the most perfect person to have on this episode.
Yeah, thank you.
So thank you so much for your strength and your just bravery and your vulnerability and your emotional everything. Like, thank you. 100 million
you've taught
times.
us a lot as well.
Yes.
And so thank you for that.
Yeah.
And I know that like now we have a safe space to go to as
yeah,
well. And
absolutely.
I hope that like anyone who else is like dealing with this, like I already know, I don't even have to ask her. Like she is your girl to go to, and she will talk to you by herself or point you in the right direction of like where to go. Like and obviously Allie and I will be here to do that as well. Like we are happy to be that person to talk with you about whatever you're dealing with and get you to somebody that's a professional who actually knows what they're doing, because obviously Allie and I are professionals. Like
Brooke and I are good listeners.
so yes, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for, like Allie said, like being so open and vulnerable. Like we appreciate it so much, and I know that anybody who is listening to this, if anybody's listening,
They
appreciates it.
Yeah.
She's like, I know I am.
Yeah, I am for sure. I've been loving it. Plus, I keep turning all these girls onto it. I'm like, guys, you gotta listen. Like, they're so cute. Yes.
I can't. She's amazing. I know. We are the Hot Mess Podcast. Absolutely. And now that Pepper is a part of the Hot Mess Express over here, girl, give us a motherfucking choo-choo.
Hop on the hot mess train, girly pop. What do we say?
Motherfucking choo-choo.